good?
You were for a second, you're back now.
All right, 1. Here we go. We're already recording. Thank you, Sam. You're making your way down sort of Ashton Park, which once upon a time was a very stylistic place. It was the homestead of the Ashton family who actually gave it to the city in the late 19th century. That has completely faded now, although there's still elements of old streets, cobblestones. The space has been more devoted to big galleries, which have been sort of converted from some of the older structures. A lot of them host studio apartments above them, and this time of night, then the music can be heard blaring and the lights can be sort of blaring similarly above them. The only way up to a lot of these buildings is through a very small door that's wedged in between two other big showy things, of theatres or of galleries. And so it's quite a struggle sometimes to get in, but usually you can tell which leads to what by the crowd of people smoking or chatting outside and by their style of dress. Martina often attends or hosts events in this place because of just how easy it is to cram that many people in and how easy it is to get that many people out. Sabina, when you pull up over on another side in your gorgeous red Chevrolet, exit out and cross over the street, and you can see it's just outside of a movie theatre with half of the letters already pulled down. So you can see the GR, and then you're something, but you're not sure like what the rest. The Greatest Show, The Great Gatsby, you're not sure, but they're already in the process of moving it, or maybe someone pulled it down as a prank. Outside, there's about a dozen people all chatting quite excitedly, and there's a couple of they're not dressed like bouncers, but they're big, heavy dudes in plain clothes like jeans, hoodie. One of them's wearing a jumper, who are quite evidently there, keeping an eye on everyone. They're leaning back and speaking to each other, but they lock eyes with anybody who doesn't look like they belong. As soon as you approach, however, don't seem to have any issue with that, and one of them leans and pulls the curtain that has been draped over the open door to let you past.
Thank you.
And when you start to ascend the very narrow stairway, there's somebody leaning up against the wall, just staring up into just the ceiling at the moment, and is watching invisible constellations that stoned out of their minds. Make your way past them and up into the main room. It's all one big room. It's a studio apartment. So there's probably about 50 people in here, and it's getting a little cramped. There's enough seating space, rugs, couches, and as you look up, a spiral staircase that leads onto an upper gantry. So like the upper floor is basically just made almost like a warehouse, a warehouse like overseer thing. So you can hear like clanking as people walk around on the metal stairs up there. You don't immediately spot Martina, so it takes you a minute of kind of starting to push through the crowd before you bump into somebody, and straight away your instincts, just like Vlatsky said, or was it Vlatsky or was it somebody told you about the beast and how it flares up. You've certainly felt it, and you feel it kick off now.
As you sort of push back from the figure you just walked directly into, he sort of reaches out, catches you by the shoulders, sort of steadying each other, like, whoa, slow down there. How's it going? Hey, new face, right? He's kind of looks about sort of 30-ish years old, or at least that's how he was at one point. Bucket hat on his head and Hawaiian shirt, a number of necklaces. You think of most of them sort of shark's teeth and stuff. And looking down, cargo shorts. Yeah, flip-flops. Somehow.
Socks?
No,
Okay.
thankfully not.
Hi. What's your name?
No, don't worry about it. Are you looking for... and he sort of reaches into a bag at his side and pulls out the top of plastic bags. I could point people out if you want. Whereabouts are you from? What's the... You with anyone here, or what?
She kind of looks around trying to see her. I'll find her soon. Who are you here with?
Don't worry about it. Just even as well. It's fine. It's fine. You want anything or not, or?
I'm okay for now. Maybe a bit later to whet my appetite.
Yeah, it'll be fine. They're all on something. It'll be fine. Find anything you want. All right, you go on. Sorry. don't walk into people, right? It's rude.
I'm sorry. Just.
And as soon as you finish saying that, he's turned to begin weaving expertly again through the crowd.
She just nods, party favorite dude, checked in her mind. She can't miss him in that shirt if she does need any.
You keep moving around. You eventually manage to elbow your way through to the staircase, which clanks as you go up it. It feels decidedly quite rickety, and the room below seems to spin in the smoke and the lights and the music. And when you get to the top, then you can see sitting down, perched on the edge of a queen-size bed, is Martina. She's wearing a golden sequin cocktail dress, fantastic heels, and which sort of like sandal style, wrap their way all the way up to her knees. She's leaning over and she's listening to somebody living speaking in her ear at the moment. Then she leans back, gives a very shallow, hollow laugh, playfully just pushes him in the face, and then frowns a little bit when he pushes her on the shoulder again, stares at him, says something, and then he stands up and then walks over towards the window. Opens it and then leans out, and then she says something else to him, and he sticks his fingers down his throat and throws up outside of it, and there's a twisted smile on her face as that whole thing happens. You can see lurking over towards another corner. Have you actually met Quinchet yet?
Yes. Have met
Furthermore,
Quinset.
Josh, do you want this NPC? Do you
Well,
not care?
which what? Who?
Quinchet, because we were discussing potentially moving her over. Do you care, or shall I?
Eric
You do her.
played to her briefly.
That's fine. She will be lurking there. We'll sort this out afterwards. If you want to speak to her, she's there, but she usually keeps to herself.
I've spoken to her. I've got what I've needed.
What you needed, dare I say it?
Well,
okay. Well,
got it
she's over in the corner at the moment, and she's got the blush active as most vampires do. In fact, remove a point of blood if you're
yes.
if you're.
No, yeah.
Need to remember to do that now. Yeah, it doesn't beat
Yes.
your load now. Yeah, she after looking at that, she's smiling quite sickeningly, and a few people are laughing and pointing and sort of laughing at the guy until you come into the edge of her field of view, and she cranes her head around to stare at you.
Sabina will bounce to the steps, skip on over. She'll probably kind of jump onto the bed next to her. Ironically, she's got silver mesh dress, but then like with a love heart, it's kind of silver sequins, almost like mirrors, and how many there are. So they kind of complement each other, kind of clash, kind of fitting. Thank you for the invite.
I can't turn someone like you away. How's the neck? Still sore?
Oh, tingles.
I'm surprised it still feels that way. You're looking a little bit more peachy now. You can start now. She looks over at the guy who's continuing to hurl, and he turns back around, and he's got puke dribbling down from his lips. She's go outside and get yourself cleaned up next door. She snaps her fingers at him, and he walks away. Then she looks back over.
What did he do to give such an impression?
You got a little too playful. You know what they're like. They think they've got what they can't have.
When will they learn?
In about 5 minutes when he comes back. And as she says that, she gives a very serious look to somebody in the crowd. You recognise them as one of the male paper dolls, one of the sort of a podgy looking guy with a goatee. He is dressed in disguise, basically, to blend in with everybody else. And he nods to her again very seriously, and he follows the guy out. You don't see either of them for a while. She looks back over to you. How are you settling in with Anya?
She's been a really great teacher. It's exciting, terrifying in a good way.
It should be. She taught me almost everything I know.
Yeah.
And I was in a worse state than you when we first properly met.
Oh.
But there you go. You know, after that whole business at Elysium, I have to admit, I was a little worried someone was going to let something slip. I was a little worried somebody wasn't going to take what we discussed seriously. Not you, of course.
You say you know me better than that.
I know that you can keep your lips sealed. It's that intrepid little PI. Have you seen him since?
On the way back from that night, I
Then,
don't think you have anything to fear in that regard.
Wonderful. Although I do think he's fantastic at his job, I'd much rather be on his side than on the receiving end of one of his blundering attempts to do the right thing.
Still interested in him getting back in the game?
Well, now he's got dirt on me, dirt on us. And being in that profession, that pisses a lot of people off. Sometimes you feel like you need to deflect the blame. So right now, no. I think I've changed my mind on that one.
I understand.
Did you catch up with Muriel at Elysium? She's perked up, hasn't she?
She has. I was wondering, that new sense of style, did that come from her or did that come from you?
Oh, you liked it.
I did like it. Different than what I've seen her in most times, but I don't know, that's if a new change in attitude. You're right. She is improving.
I wouldn't say she's improving. Not at all. Pride cometh before the fall on all that. She's acting out like a rebellious teenager, don't you see it? She's trying to prove that me, Alan, Will, the city can't control her. And she's blurted out that well, I mean, I'm sure half the city knows by now her relationship with her therapist.
Yeah.
Which is fucking stupid. Because now that it's out that the Ventru are seeking therapy, well, that doesn't exactly inspire confidence, does it? When the people in charge are telling all their little secrets to some DNA. That was supposed to be very quiet. There's nothing we can do about it now, of course. She's gone and opened her mouth.
But the fact it's in-house, surely that helps.
What do you mean in-house?
In clan.
Do you know what people like the king think of therapy? They think it's for weaklings. Muriel.
Voice from just behind the two of them suddenly appearing, unfamiliar to Sabina. So we really think Luca thinks.
She leans back and turns around to cast her eyes upon this person. Who does she see?
Cynic, bald head, and appropriately casual party clothes. Though definitely on the smarter side of the people there.
Right. You know, I felt that there was something funny in the air when you walked in. Yes, of course, Luca thinks. He wouldn't have been able to hold on to what little he has if he didn't. And it's people like him that we need to take us seriously. And Muriel was on track to be like that. She had a reputation for being ruthless, clinical, you know, all the sorts of things my grandmother prides herself on establishing in the family. Now it
Well,
looks
of
like she's
course,
going
but
soft. And now, after she started her therapy, she's acting more Carthian by the night, which is extremely, extremely concerning to people like me.
no one ever asks for my opinion. But
We always get it. Go on, please.
of course, the moment's passed for a redemption arc. She was down and out, and the city loved to gossip, and had finished gossiping about her. And what, she was going to climb back up again? Hey, the city loves to gossip.
Okay, so do you think that reinventing herself as a rebel is going to improve things?
And maybe the responsibilities just cracked her. Hey, how does it look from your side, Fledgling?
I'm curious to see if this is the first reinvention. I don't know where she'll go. It feels like I don't know if she's experimenting or she's sure of the destination, but I don't know, it's a refreshing change.
Ah, yes, because we are famously creatures known for handling change well.
Some of us are better than others. When you've had to reinvent your entire life as many times as we have, becomes second nature to change completely. But that doesn't mean it's healthy. And I'm a little bit worried that Muriel has seen the grass on the other side and thought it looked a little greener.
Maybe
And she
so.
seems to.
I think perception that might be the case might be a little bit more worrying. I just, hearing things, and Cynic would lean in and whisper something in Martina's ear for a second about harpies and gossip going around. Oh, be on my way.
But you haven't been acquainted yet. I don't know if you were there at the Elysium or if you had somewhere busy to be.
I was circling around. Loved the sort of bullfighter impression.
Loved it, did you? What is it
Well,
about
you
the
can't
sight?
tell me that wasn't entertaining.
What is it about the sight of Ventru on their knees that gets you going, gets you so riled up?
Oh, not bad. That was uncouth. I meant this little one staring down, charging Luca Del Miro.
Well, everybody wants a piece of Sabina, don't they?
Some more literally than others.
Your
Right, have
excuse,
fun.
Cynic.
You turn to head down the staircase to the lower floor.
Who are they?
Cynic. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't know. He just sort of drifted in one night and started spouting sarcastic bullshit. But he made me laugh, and so I keep him around. He likes pointing out the flaws. He reminds me of Will in that way, but a little bit more, more on tone. Not willing to just say the first thing that pops into his mind. Now I have to ask as well, things have changed with you. This business with Isaac, do I need to be worried? Is that buried? Is that sorted? Is somebody else dealing with it? Because I'm sure I'm going to have to catch up with him again at some point. We didn't really have a proper opportunity to go into details about his transgression.
That's entirely on him.
Water under the bridge or not?
It's on him. I hope so. I did try to speak to him a couple of times during the Elysium, offered bandages and the shirts, and he still left without it.
What I mean, Sabina, is do I have to worry about you concocting some useless little ploy to try and get revenge on him? And if you are, is anybody helping you? Because I don't want some half-cocked plan for revenge or some way to somehow get your family out of there. If you tell me right now that this matter is over, I just want the whole thing done with. If you want something changed, fine, tell me. I'll help you.
I don't have any plans for revenge. It would be nice if my uncle remembered me. I won't deny that.
Isn't he already an essential part of Isaac's operation, something like that?
I won't interfere with that. If Isaac is at any point would be happy to work, I'd happily help, but I won't do anything to hinder.
Right. Well, I'll leave that up to you two to negotiate for now, but we can't have it escalating into something like what happened with Lansky again from either of you. That's really important. We need to focus on making sure that your new career kicks off properly and it can't be mired by what happened before.
Absolutely agreed.
Good. So I don't want to hear a peep out of it. The prince is very eager to sweep the whole thing under the rug. We've got bigger fish to fry.
Mm-hmm.
Help yourself, by the way. And she looks around the room. I think a few people are already starting to recognize you from your Instagram.
It still takes me by surprise, honestly.
Have you eaten since?
We've got some, training wheels days planned.
Okay. Well, figure out who's holding the ball. If it gets a little messy, you can always blame it on a bad trip.
Thank you.
And as she smiles and continues to shoot the shit with you, outside another car pulls up a little bit further down the road. This time it would be, which of his many cars is he driving up in?
Oh, I don't know. Probably would be the large black one, which he seems to be favouring a lot recently.
Excellent.
Isaac would step out, accompanied by both Antonio and Napoli, and would circle for the driver to do some loops around the block and heads directly towards the nightclub entrance.
One of the bouncers frowns at you for just a second, and again they're plain clothes. He frowns at you for a second, but as you walk over, then I think just with the sheer authority of you walking over and seeing two equally dangerous looking men flanking you, are they wearing
yeah, they're wearing the identical
grey
suits.
Yeah. Walking up, they kind of think better of it and just step aside for you to walk past. The other two, they escort you in up the stairs and sort of through into the main area where you get a few weird looks from people. Have you got the blush on, by the way?
Yes, I would have the blush on.
Okay, yeah, you get a few weird looks as they see these very very straight cut bodyguards walking in, and people give you a wide berth, but it does make it easier to get through the crowd.
Making a note to mark the blush when I've got my vitae back. Okay.
Yes.
And yeah, Isaac would probably just move straight through the floor and up the stairs towards where Martina's kind of VIP room would be.
You'd see Napoli get up there first and give a quick check as Isaac follows him. I think both Martina and Sabina would clock him at the same time from where they're sitting on the bed.
Kind of gives his ghouls the universal symbol of piss off by basically going like that, and they just disperse and stand back down the stairs. You probably feel Isaac's beast before you saw him. It's not more powerful than any other beast, just almost imperceptibly weirder in a way that you might not have noticed had it not been for his public admittance of his diablerie. More like a reptile or a bird of prey, some kind of cold ambush predator that's being held barely in check. Sabina might be reminded of the flash of memory of Isaac with the black Ecor drooling down from his mouth onto his chin and neck.
There
And
she
he
is. Wrinkles her nose, almost remembering that smell, but she probably kind of tilt her head, almost resting her head on Martina's shoulder, just like,
Speak of the devil, and she stands up at that point. It's everybody's favorite rebel.
Rebel.
Oh yes, Isaac. Flouting the rules, playing fast and loose with domain. Still the Priscus, running fly. It's very fun to watch.
I'm glad you are entertained.
Oh, come on,
Congratulations,
lighten
Sabina.
up.
Congratulations,
The
Sabina,
party.
on your recent. Isaac just quickly scans the room to make sure that there's no humans who would know anything. Is it the same kind of staff as last time he was here?
No, there are like people around here. Yeah.
Congratulations on
Yeah, go on.
joining the society.
thank you, but not so formal. It is a party after all.
Let's get some air, shall we? And she walks over to the the sliding door where you saw the guy like was told to puke off of. She opens it, looks at the two people who are standing out there smoking, just says, "Get back inside. We need this." And they enter in. She shuts it, so it gives you a bit of privacy. Basically, you're out in the open air with a couple of with like about a few centimeters of glass separating you from everybody else. They wouldn't be able to hear you, and you can see the street below.
Is it just the two of us, or has Sabina joined?
Yeah, she's letting Sabina out as well. Yeah.
Okay. I think Clan Dover will certainly suit you and your certain skill set.
Thank you. I definitely look forward to exploring.
How's your back, Isaac?
It's recovered.
Good to hear. You seem to be having a little bit of trouble.
Trouble.
Well, you left, and then when you came back, it was still pretty raw. I wondered if he had put something on that scourge.
Put something on the scourge.
Oh, I don't know, some sanctum bullshit to make it sting for longer. Usually wounds like that would close up in an instant, but
Maybe it was sanctum magic.
well, that's good to hear. Sabina, would you mind for just a moment? Isaac actually technically is or might still be one of my landlords. I just need to have a very quick word with him about some business, but we'll be right back with you.
No problem. I keep the party thumping for you both.
Thank
Have
you,
fun.
Sabina. We will.
As she steps back in, Richard might come into view through the glass doors, quickly snaring her away for a conversation.
So, about what happened.
Yes.
Was it any good?
It's more pleasant than a Giovanni bun.
Oh, I beg to differ. You know, all of the rumors that I'd heard about it, none of them were true. Maybe I'm just struggling to figure out the difference between pain and pleasure now, but it was a different sensation. There was nothing caring about what you were doing. It just felt like you were taking me, which is not the sort of feeling I like to encourage in myself at Elysium. But although I'm still not quite sure what came over me that night, maybe I'm just getting a little too stressed holding this office. But I've done a little thinking about your future on the strip, and if there is one. You're still on the council, right? That hasn't changed.
It has not.
And you don't want it to change.
There's still work that needs to be done.
Is that for you or for the clan? For
the clan.
Really?
Work for the clan is work for me.
Yeah, I know that. You've got a really big target on you, Isaac. You know that, right?
I am aware.
I overheard the seneschal while we were at Elysium It's not like him to gloat in public anymore. But hearing that news about some more Giovanni in town, I think has got him spooked. He's probably going to try and find them. I don't know if he's going to do anything rash, but you being where you are is a precarious position. And as your Priscus and your mentor for this past year, I thought I'd give you some advice.
I'm always happy to hear advice.
Lighten the fuck up, Isaac. You're still alive. You're still breathing.
Am I breathing?
You could be a lot more dead than you are right now.
This much is true. What was your advice?
Okay, if we're just going to go straight to business then. Retire as Priscus and come and stay with me on the strip. As a baron, as a protege. Potentially as a harpy. We've got people like Hunka, Madame Quinchette, Alan Denver. The sort of people who might not be accepted in Elysium because they don't get on with the powers that be. Cynthia
You
Barker.
think a known Diablerist would be accepted in Elysium more than they would?
Well, right now, the prince doesn't seem to have done anything about it. Frankly, I think a few people in the court consider it a turn on, but not many south of the lake. What I'm trying to say is there's a different set of laws here. It's not whose blood you bear. It's the power you have over other people. And Isaac, I've seen you display an immense amount of power over other people. And I think you could do much better building a kingdom over here than clinging on to whatever scraps you can just for the sake of having the ear of the prince.
But this is your kingdom, not mine.
Oh, it is. But it's built up of others. I can't run the strip alone. When it was smaller, maybe. Before it was called the strip, yes. When it was just a few neighborhoods. But now it's a family. A weird, dysfunctional family, but closer than anything you would find in Invictus. I know I banished you kind of hastily last time. You understand why I was pissed. But you've survived yet again.
I believe that you were correct in your initial assessment. I am better banished. If there is a target on my back, well then if I take up any kind of residence here, it becomes a target on the strip. Some people are more idiotic than either of us. Some people, they're just so thirsty to revenge that they will do something that is not well thought out, and the strip may suffer for it. And more than that, the prince has been very clear to me about exactly what my role is, exactly what her thoughts are on me being Priscus, and was gracious enough to continue to grant me the role. If I resign it, then I spit openly in the face of Her Majesty.
Right, okay. I understand.
Your offer is kind, and I am grateful for it. But she could inflict such terrors on me if I were to join you.
And I couldn't.
I believe you
If you
could,
did.
but I'm willing to offer you something. When I was Baron of Ashton Park, I made a deal with Con and Fee, Mecca, who belonged to the Circle of the Crone, to allow them to hunt and feed us according to an agreement I made with them on Ashton Park. If you would be so kind as to honor that agreement with them, I would be willing to find and remove the revenants that currently haven on Ashton Park. And there's a cherry on top. I would also make very clear publicly to the Harpies that for agreeing to this, I would be in your debt. Does this deal sound more amicable to you?
You want me to invest in you? The Bank of Reed. Where's the Bank of Reed based at the moment? Underneath an overpass? In a dumpster somewhere? Back on that casino boat?
At the head of a clan. You have influence over me, you have influence over the clan.
The
There's no two ways
Phantom.
about that.
The Phantom has influence over a clan. Nobody knows where the fuck the Phantom is. If the Phantom invites you over for dinner, you got no fucking idea where to go. You're not secure without domain. And if you want me to be calling on you, I need to be able to protect my investment. I can't do that if I don't know where you are or who could come for you. Where are you keeping your haven?
Red Beach.
Red Beach. That's bumfuck nowhere, Isaac. That's vulnerable. That's what that is. Come back here.
No.
I know, and she takes a step towards you. I know at Elysium, I liked it when you talk back to me like that. And I'm sure you've got some misguided impression in your head that superiors like to be challenged. Well, you're not wrong.
You're asking me to pick between loyalty to you and loyalty to my prince.
She goes to sleep every few years and leaves us to deal with shit. And I'm the one that holds half the fucking city together with my own broken bloody fingernails. So if you want to ask questions about who can inflict more pain, well, I think we both know that I'm the more sadistic of the two of us. And if you're asking who you should really favor, it's going to be me, because she's going to go under again or go away on a business trip, or she's just going to be too fucking busy to think about you, while I'm going to be here deciding whether or not I should sell you out or keep you close.
I'm offering the chance for you to keep me close, that I shouldn't be a baron of the strip. It would be unwise for you, because if there is a target on my back, hell, if I'm in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, you can go back on the agreement, you can renege. Yes, you lose a death, but
So you're doing it to spare me from being dragged down with you.
I don't think you'd be dragged down with me, but the strip would suffer with my presence.
I thought we could be a team.
I'm offering to be a team, but I can't stay on the strip. Not any longer.
Fine. And she takes one more step, so she's very close and intimate to you at this point. Fine, do whatever the fuck you want. Make sure you come visit.
I will. The agreement stands. I'll go to the Harpies and let them know I'm in your debt and begin working on hunting these revenants immediately.
Go. You have permission. Con and Fee too. Any other cronies you want to invite on, let me know first.
I will. Thank you, Priscus. And Isaac turns, walks back towards the doors, pulls open the sliding glass, steps on, closes it, and immediately sweeps the room for Richard Armstrong.
He would be still talking to Sabina at the moment, off to one side of the lower floor.
Isaac kind of like stalks into view as his kind of
appearing not to immediately notice you, still focused on Sabina. He'd be saying, where would we be in the conversation at this point? And you've had all the proper starting moments, right? It is sensible for you to be around this many people.
Of course.
Good.
Do I look ravenous?
I'm sure they're keeping you well fed up there, but you can understand my hesitancy. They're not known for a wealth of domain, are they?
Do you think Martina's that bored she'd invite me just to cause utter carnage?
I wouldn't go back in there and speak to her if you want to avoid utter carnage. She's not very pleased with me.
That
Well,
sounds
is
like
that
a
any
good reason to speak
surprise?
to her.
3. How are things?
About as well as can be expected. Would we be able to talk privately about a concern of yours that you brought up to me a while before?
Well, I'm racking my brain for what that could be, but yes, of course, well, truth be told, this isn't quite my scene. And he has, clearly dressed down a little, but visibly does not fit in here.
If you want to evacuate before Martina explodes, I have a car waiting outside.
What did you do?
I told her no.
Well, you're a braver man than I.
Or a stupider one.
And just the
Okay, well, I wasn't going to say that. Shall we?
We shall. Sabina, if you'd like me to call you a cab, I'd be happy to cover the expenses.
Thank you, but my car was one of the only things untouched. I've still got her. I think I might see if Martina needs a distraction. Have fun.
Good luck. And Isaac
Don't
kind of
need
like
luck. I make my own.
Isaac kind of continues to like walk down with Richard, kind of summons his ghouls back to him, and they file back out through the doors they came in. He like sends a text on his phone, and they wait for about 30 seconds before the large black kind of car pulls out in front of them. And Isaac steps forward and opens the door for Richard.
And Richard would get in, making himself comfortable in the back. Should we cut this scene here and then do the private one after that?
I think that works.